So, what is Prism? In the simplest form, Prism is simply a framework for developing composite applications. It allows you to take a large or complex application and break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Prism relies heavily on design patterns to help promote loose coupling and separation of concerns. Some of the common patterns you will run into are the dependency injection pattern, inversion of control pattern, command pattern, and model view model pattern. So basically, Prism takes an application that might look a little like this, where all the views and the code, any services or data access are just all twisted together. And it's difficult to differentiate what touches what, and any single change might break the entire system. On the other hand, if we talk about Prism, then we will create our application well structured and composite, where the major identical areas of the application have been identified and separated from the other functional areas of the application. Now I can be confident if I were to make a change, say in the first building, that it would not affect anything that happens in the second, third, fourth or fifth building. Before we continue, it's important to install Prism inside Visual Studio. Now there are different ways to install Prism. The first is to install MVVM Prism via NuGet package, but I will show you the more reliable and the best way. And we will install the Prism via Prism template pack. So if you are on Windows machine, then open your Visual Studio and just click Tool and then select Extension and Updates. And on the left hand side, you will see this online option. Let's select this online option and then search for Prism template pack. And here we go. So let's install this Prism template pack extension, and it will take some time. Right after the installation, you will need to restart your Visual Studio. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to restart my Visual Studio. So let's restart the Visual Studio, and now I'm going to create a new project. So let's select File, New Project, and this time you will see this Prism extension inside my Visual Studio. And you can see that this Prism contains two flavors. One is for Xamarin Forms and the other is for WPF or Windows Presentation Foundation. We are going to work with Xamarin Forms. So let's select this Xamarin Forms option. And then I'm going to create the blank app from Xamarin template. So let's select this Prism blank app for Xamarin Forms and then name this project and click OK. Right after that, you will see that we have the dialog window that says, as you target all the platforms including Android, iOS and UWP, well, you can target all these platforms with Prism. I have not installed the UWP SDK in my machine, and that's why I'm going to uncheck this option. Then you can see another interesting feature, and that is the container. Well, you can work with all these containers with Prism. Right now, you can see that we have different containers like Unity, Autofake, and Dry IOC. Well, that's the beauty of Prism, because it comes along with these IOC containers. And now you can pick the container from this list according to your choice. I'm going to use Unity. So let's select this and then create a project. And here we go. Our project has been created successfully. Now let me show you the architecture of this project. We have one Xamarin Forms project, one Android project, and one iOS project. And of course, if you have selected the UWP option, then you will have the UWP project as well. Now inside this Xamarin Forms project, you will see that we have a views folder, and inside this view folder, we have a main page.xaml and main page.xaml.cs file just like normal Xamarin Forms application. And then we have a view model folder. And inside this, we have a main page view model and view model base. In Prism, for every view, we must have a view model. And right now, we have one view, and that is main page. And for this main page, we have one view model. Alright? Just recall your concepts that we have applied earlier on the Codes application. Well, in the Codes application, we have created the base view model and implement the iNotify property change, etc. Well, this view model base is similar to our base view model that we have created earlier when we have worked with the Codes application. But this view model base is very easy to understand and it's much better. Right now, you can see that this view model base contains iNavigation service, and that's basically used to call the navigation methods. We have a one constructor and we have virtual methods. Also, we have a one title property, and if I go to the view, then you will see that this title property is mapped with the title of the page. If you are new in MVVM Prism, don't worry, because I will break every complex concepts for you so that you can understand it properly. If we go to the app.xaml.cs file, then you will notice that this app.xaml.cs file is little bit different from the app.xaml.cs file that we have used in the normal Xamarin Forms application. In this app.xaml.cs file, we have an override method named as onInitialized. And this method is used to register the application root page, which in our case is the main page. And then we have another override method named as register types, and this register types method will be responsible to register container and resolve dependencies. If we run this application, then you will see that we have a label control that says welcome to Xamarin Forms and Prism. Alright, now we are going to explore how things actually work inside MVVM Prism. In this module, I'm going to show you how things actually work inside the MVVM Prism Xamarin Forms application. But before this, let me clear everything inside this project so that we can pick the concepts easily. Alright, let's get rid from these view models and views. And similarly, let's go to the app.xaml.cs file and then let's remove this line. Now I'm going to create a new page inside my view folder. But before this, you can see that we don't have anything in my view model folder. Once we create the view, it will also create the view model automatically. So what I'm gonna do is, I will right click on the views folder and select new item, and then this time I'm not going to use the Xamarin Forms page. Rather we have this Prism extension and we will rely on this Prism template. Well, if we click this Prism option, then you will see that we have all the necessary pages here. Right now I'm going to use the content page. So let's select this content page and then name it welcome page, and here we go. Once we create the page, you will see that Prism also creates the view model for this welcome page. Well, that's pretty awesome. Also, if I go to the app.xaml.cs file, then you will see that inside this register type method, Prism will also register the welcome page. Alright, that's awesome. Now we need to set the application root page. Right now we have only one page, and that is welcome page. So if you want to set the root page of your application, then simply go to this onInitialized method, and there you will see this navigation service.navigation async. And inside this navigation async method, we will pass the name of our root page. Well, if you want to navigate from your root page to some other page, then use navigation page slash your root page. And if you don't want to navigate from one page to another, or if you have only a single page, then simply pass the name of your page. Right now, I have just a single page, and that is welcome page. So let's pass the name of our page here. And of course, we are not going to use navigation page, so let's comment this code. Alright, the cool thing about Prism is that we don't write anything inside our code behind file. For example, if I go to the welcomepage.xaml.cs file, then you will see that we don't have any binding context inside the constructor of this welcome page. Now you are thinking that if the binding context is not inside the code behind file, then maybe it will present inside the welcomepage.xaml. But that's not true, because if I go to the welcomepage.xaml file, then you will see that we don't have any binding context. Now you are thinking, if the binding context is not present inside the welcomepage.xaml and welcomepage.xaml.cs file, then how is it possible to map the view with the view model? Well, this view model locator.autowire view model namespace will do all the things for us. You can see the IntelliSense of this AutoWire view model, and that says if we set this AutoWire view model to true, then it will automatically create a new instance of view model using convention and set the associated view binding context to that instance. Alright, let's create a label control and set some random text. Now if I run this application, then you will see this text on the screen. Right now, we have just explored the basic things inside the MVVM Prism application. Now we are going to explore commanding in MVVM Prism. So I will catch you guys in the next module. In this module, we are going to explore commanding inside the Xamarin Forms Prism application. So let's start our work. Right now, I have one view and one view model. So what I'm gonna do is, I'll switch to my view folder, and then inside this welcome page, I'm going to add a button control. And then we need a command so that we can interact with the button. So let's go to the view model, and there I'm going to add a command. Well, in normal Xamarin Forms application, we have used the command, but in MVVM Prism, we have a much better thing, and that is delegate command. So let's add a property of type delegate command, and then I'm gonna name this property to login command. And as always, to work with the delegate command, we need to instantiate this. So let's instantiate this inside the constructor. The rest of the portion is similar like a normal Xamarin Forms MVVM application. Here I am going to add an action name, and then we need to create a function. And here we go. Now let's copy this login command and then switch back to the view, and there inside this button control, I'm going to bind the command property of this button with the login command that comes from the view model. Alright, now let's add a breakpoint with this function. And let's try to run this application. Here you will see that our application is running inside the emulator. And when I press this button, then you will see that the call goes to this method. It means our binding is working perfectly. Now I'm going to show you how you can work with navigations.